All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the three-digit World Cup 2026. We're here for a matchup between two very, very closely seeded teams. Seeds number 7 and 6 between Romania and South Korea. I'm Dio, and I'm joined by iFlame for this match. How's it going, man? Good morning.
Good morning, and very, very well-spoken intro, I must say. Despite how close these two teams are in seed, though, I think Romania are going to have quite the task ahead of them because obviously this is a losers bracket match. Both of these two teams have played the pool quite a bit. South Korea actually went to tiebreaker against Brazil, won that one 7-6. Romania had a little bit of an easier time in their match, winning 7-3. When you look at the head-to-head scores, there is quite a bit of overlap, and the head-to-head, I'm afraid, is 7-0 in favor of South Korea when you actually compare those scores. So we're going to need to see some big performances from Romania today. Funnily enough, pure coincidence, both of these teams had Hidden 3 and Free Mod 3 banned against them. So we're going to see those bans changed up. Now, we do have the pick order chosen by Romania, which means South Korea likely going to be opting to ban second. And the previous bans for Romania were DT3, DT1, both maps, well, at least the DT1, South Korea had a reasonably good score on. DT3, not so much. They put up 900k, so if Romania feels like they can beat 900k, maybe they can leave that one open. There are other maps that may be more important to ban out in this case. The No Mod 4, Romania got absolutely gaffed on by South Korea in the head-to-head score, so maybe they consider that ban instead.
Yeah, no, we'll see if they do end up changing up those bans. They're going to have to change up something here, as both of them had the same maps banned into them. I'm wondering who's going to break that stalemate and actually leave one of those maps open to get into things. Both of these teams honestly do have some pretty similar strengths, though. You look at the wins for both of these teams against their opponents yesterday. Romania versus Brazil, largely off the back of Origin and Bidou alongside Capybaras. But on their own picks, just doing really, really well on a lot of the more gimmicky maps in the pool. And that's exactly what South Korea really likes to abuse most of the time. That said, both of these teams are also pretty competent on the speed. Romania beating Germany on the Soldier Inductance pick in free mod. Sorry, not Cyber Inductance, Soldier Inductance. Eternum getting 740k on Hard Rock there. 91 accuracy is something to behold, but
Yeah.
is going to be able to get a solid score on it regardless. We are going to see the DT1 banned here by Romania to start things off. Custom map of Tobidase Sweet Sweet Magic. Not going to be making it into the pool today.
Yeah, they're just going to be sticking with their ban to start this one off, and this is one of those bans that makes sense to keep around. South Korea had a very strong score on that map. For South Korea, the bans were No Mod 5, Free Mod 1. Honestly, No Mod 5 is definitely not a bad map to ban into any team that has Bidou. It's your CS7, AR7, but they're going to go HD3 Free Mod 1, so they replace that HD3 ban, and they are going to keep their Free Mod 1 ban. That does leave the No Mod 5 open. But they do know the Romania score on that Free Mod 1 as well, so they've evidently deemed it worth the risk. Dio, I'm afraid we may end up seeing a DT3 ban here, but I would much rather a No Mod 4 ban, personally.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm interested to see what they want to leave up, because yeah, South Korea is very good on DT1, but I feel like both of these teams have their kind of, speed specialists, so I don't know that they necessarily want to just ban out speed in this matchup. Do you think those bans from South Korea make a lot of sense against Romania as well? Again, you're probably scared of Bidou on those maps, and there's some other ones that you're probably a little bit scared of him on too. Maybe the No Mod 5, maybe something like that Hidden 2 original song.
Yeah, and you could potentially look at something like the DT4 as well as another map. South Korea had an absolutely ridiculous score on. They got 2.4 million on that map, and so it's another potential ban because that's a score that's going to be hard for just about any team in this pool to match from what I've seen so far. But should just be getting that next ban shortly. And the overlapping skill set makes it interesting 'cause it's a bit of a game of chicken, right? Like there's a lot of maps in this pool that both teams are going to be strong on. And the question is, do you pick it yourself if you feel strong on it? Or do you try and leave it for later in the hopes that your opponents will pick it for you? But at that point, you also risk it not being picked at all and not having enough picks left. So it's going to be tough to find that balance. A lot to think about in this one. And they go for the no mod too. So that is interesting. They leave the DT4 and the no mod 4 open. And their previously banned DT3 left open as well. So feels like a lot of pretty clear picks for South Korea, at least for their first 3 maps or so. But Romania is the team with the first pick. And I'm curious to see what they're going to go for, because I think you probably target one of those previous South Korea bans in the no mod 5. Again, when you look at the head-to-head, it's pretty heavily South Korea favored, but a lot of those head-to-heads were close. So they're going to have their chances on some of these breakpoints later in the match, but the challenge is finding a direction early on here.
And I almost think, like, if you have similar strengths, you should probably just pick into your strength anyway. Unless there's, like, an obvious weakness on the other team, which this late in the tournament, let's be honest, there isn't, right? Both of these teams are already top 8, and you're fighting for top 6 in the tournament after qualifying in through a field of about 30 or so teams. So you're already well above top half into top 25% or so of the teams here. Both of these teams are going to be very solid across the pool, so there's not going to be too many real weaknesses for either of these teams. And yeah, they just go for free mod 3, which I think fits Romania as a team very, very well. You have specialists for both hard rock mechanics and low AR hidden reading in control on this team. You have your all-rounders as well, but I think a team like Romania really loves an anti-mod free mod pick like this.
Yeah, and I am wondering if this is the kind of map we could see an easy on, because the multiplier is so low, only 1.6. I'm a little bit doubtful, even though these teams do have players that I think are capable of playing it. I'm not actually sure it's necessarily worth it, especially if you can put up a good score on something like a hidden. So you will just need, it's the usual free mod rules. It is 1 hidden or easy, 1 hard rock on each team, optional second hidden. Do you think you see any overmods here? I think on a map like this, I'd be quite surprised.
Yeah, definitely don't think that it is going to be an overmod for either of these teams. Both of them just leaving the lobby. But I think, decide your rosters, get people in, no problem. And you should see probably just Origin, Badu, Eternum on this pick for Romania. I don't really expect too many other people, maybe Capybaras to come in, but I think just Origin, Badu, Eternum on this map makes a lot of sense. No, Romania is not blue team. What? All right. South Korea is the blue team, and they are getting in Petit, Amamiya Kokoro, and probably Allegrisimo on the hard rock, I would have to guess. Yeah. And yeah, no surprises for the rosters here for either of these teams going into the first pick from Romania. Anti-mod pick in the free mod pool. Custom map as well by Ryukana Mary.
Yeah, and definitely interesting for Petit to play a ton of maps in their last match. Is going to be in for this one. I think is stronger on the CS7 specifically, and so gonna feel better about that. And good luck, have fun in the chat. Lineups are in. The teams are the correct colors, thankfully. And we're gonna get this one underway. Big first pick for Romania. And South Korea is going to be strong on this too. Despite it being Romania's first pick, It's going to be far from a guarantee because South Korea had this banned out against them for good reason.
I'm actually a little surprised to see Origin on Hidden and Petite on Hard Rock versus Allegrissimo, but I suppose if you've got the comfort players on Nomad, you should maybe expect your best scores out of those players. Amamiya Kokoro with a very early miss on that Hidden for South Korea. Everybody else on those full combos for now, early on into this map.
Yeah, I do think Petite seems to be their go-to precision player on a lot of these picks and does fill in for some of the regular Hard Rocks as well. Turnham is going to find a next big miss, so going to be edge in favor of South Korea as Amamiya Kokoro is rebuilding nicely, but Allegrissimo is going to trade that one back shortly thereafter. Now it's 2 FCs, make that 0 FCs for South Korea. Romania in a very good spot now, but it's a long map, plenty of time to rebuild this combo. Origin drops, and now it is all on Badu. And I really love this choice, put Badu on the no mod, because you let your strongest player have a much easier time with no mods, and sometimes they can just combo, and on a map like this, that could easily be enough to, basically 1v3 if you can put up in your FC.
Yeah, and so far that's looking like how it's going to go here. We've had a bunch of breaks for everybody besides Badu, and Badu is still on the full combo. No sweat so far, halfway in. They are up only 30k though. You look across the board and you've got 98 accuracy on Petite with that Hard Rocket, turn him down at 95. So this score lead is not actually moving over very quickly at all. And there goes Badu, and now iFlame is kind of crumbling apart here for Romania. The recoveries on South Korea are far better, including the accuracy, 99.3 for Amamiya Kokoro after an act drop versus now 96 for Origin. So only Badu matching accuracy on the Nomad with Allegrissimo, and otherwise the Hard Rock and the Hidden are just way more comfortable for South Korea. And now the score lead's already up above 100k, whereas even when Badu was holding the FC, Romania at best had a 30k score lead. This is not going well now. The early misses look bad for South Korea, but these middle of the map misses for Romania are really hampering their ability to get a good score on this map. Origin Badu trade out with Amamiya Kokoro and Petite, so that is better, but now there goes Eternum, and you've got Allegrissimo on the Nomad still holding this combo, and you've still got to deal with those act deficits, and now it's ballooned up to a 200,000 score lead, and this first pick is gone a little bit awry here for Romania. I think they were really dependent on that full combo from Badu, and it just did not come to fruition. And now Allegrissimo top in the lobby, above 500k on the Nomad.
Yeah, very, very nice score from Allegrissimo. Like you said, they just could not afford those earlier misses on Badu, and it's just a stronger team score from South Korea. That's kind of been the trend throughout the tournament. Romania has relied relatively heavily on Badu, kind of being their standout player most weeks. Whereas South Korea tends to be a little bit more balanced. Both players, Allegrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro, have consistently had some really good showings throughout the weeks with some good fill players otherwise. So they're going to be very happy to get that break point, and we see why this was banned out against both teams, because those were two pretty good team scores all around. I mean, from South Korea, their lowest score, 460k, is very impressive. They're going to have the next pick as well, and I feel like there are so many good picks for South Korea here. And the three I'm looking at, Nomad 4, DT 4, and the previously banned Nomad 5.
Yeah, I mean, those all sound like solid picks for South Korea here. Nomad 4, a very, very South Korea sort of map. This is one of the best tech teams in World Cup tournaments generally, especially at the higher end in OWC and 3WC. Even without some of their, flagship players like Worst HR Player or Flying Tuna or Fragrance of Page from last year, you still have players like Amamiya Kokoro, like Allegrissimo, who are really, really strong on that skill set. And of course, you have a lot of other players joining this roster who are really strong on that skill set as well. Right, Petite has been, I think, a really solid addition to this team, specifically as that kind of third all-rounder fill on some of those more control-focused maps. So has been really, really solid for them there. And even if you don't want to go that route, I do think the mechanics roster for this team is actually really solid now. You have Chapuri, you have My Keyboard, and you have potentially Allegrissimo or maybe Sherbet to fill in as a third player on those more speed-focused picks. So this team can be really, really scary on some of those more speed mechanics-focused picks as well. And for Romania, you do have a good speed mechanics roster, right? You have Eternum, you have Origin, you have, maybe Capybaras or Robotonic or Remorack, but yeah, they are actually just going to go for speed here. It is the Senya DT2 pick here.
Yeah, entirely reasonable as well. It was Romania scored 1.8 mil on this one, and it was 2.2 for South Korea. And I really like your Japori My Keyboard shout out, because I would not be surprised to see them here. And we actually saw South Korea in their last match. They played Japori My Keyboard as a duo in 8 different maps, so evidently relying on these two pretty heavily, and it's worked out well for them. They kind of have 2 different duos. They've got the Amamiya Kokoro Allegrissimo duo on one hand, and the My Keyboard Japori duo on the other. And then you can take players to fill as needed. For Romania, looks like we are going to be seeing Robotonic in specifically for the speed. Likely Eternum. Certainly not going to be seeing Badu on this one.
No, wouldn't think so. Let's see how well they are able to put up a fight on a map like this, because I think for South Korea, right, if you take a breakpoint on your opponent's first pick on the free mod 2, there is no pressure to then pick into something that you are strongest at as a team, right? Yeah. From there, you're pretty set. You can just play into something different, right? Test the waters and speed. See if, hey, maybe we can dominate the field across multiple different pick strategies. Pick into speed, let them pick into the gimmick into us, and potentially take breakpoints. So I do really like this pick for South Korea, and likely we're just seeing Japori My Keyboard and Allegrissimo. Amamiya Kokoro can play speed as well, so wouldn't be surprised to see him stay in here. I think Japori My Keyboard definitely, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for Romania on this pick, Capybaras could not make this match today, and did have the top score on Romania last time this was played, so that's going to hurt a lot for them. I think it's going to give South Korea really good odds on this pick. And it was just a really impressive team score from South Korea and Romania as well, to be fair. And it was team consistency on both sides. Romania had all 3 players putting up 600k. South Korea had all 3 players putting up 700k. But the loss of Capybaras is going to hurt Romania a lot here. We'll see if they can make up for that score difference, but South Korea might need to see an underperformance from them if Romania want their breakpoint back.
Yeah,
too many early rank drops.
Yeah, but Japori does actually find a miss just in the slow section. Same for Robotonic. And it turns out this pick was actually really good. If you're playing without your top scorer from yesterday, that's got to hurt the confidence, if nothing else, for Romania here. Yeah. And another couple of misses for Robotonic. At least Japori did break the first time around. And there goes Amamiya Kokoro, actually. Does find some shakes off a stream, which is very easy on this map. It is CS5 for this DT2, so the aim requirement on this actually pretty substantial. There goes Origin. It's just Eternum and My Keyboard on the full combo. Slight combo advantage on all of the supporting scores for South Korea. And with the timing of those misses, advantage Romania for a bit. Now the score moving towards South Korea.
Yeah, I mean, it's staying relatively even, though. It will edge over to the side of South Korea as they have the bigger combos, but Romania are not going to be too far behind as long as they can hold on to their combos. And all it takes is one miss on Japori or My Keyboard, and Romania going to be right back in this one. We've got the next KI coming up shortly, and that is going to be the pretty big test for these players. Half the map to go in Romania, only down by 30k, very much within reach, but Robotonic finds a big miss, and the score bar is going to shoot over in favor of South Korea. My Keyboard trades, as is Amamiya Kokoro. All of a sudden, Romania going to start to bring this one back, but Eternum needed to hold there. Now Japori is going to hold with this 300 combo advantage over Origin, and Romania can do nothing but hope for a Japori miss.
Yeah, and that is not something you really want to be hoping for. Japori is the longest standing mechanic specialist on South Korea, formerly known as Parisia. You go back to OWC, I think it was 2023 was his first appearance. So he has been at this for a while. I don't remember how long in 3-digit World Cup, but is a pretty household name if you've been paying attention this decade in the OS World Cup. And unfortunately for Romania, there goes Origin, and there goes their chances of a break point on this map as Japori continues holding this reverse choke. Massive combo. Does finally find the drop after hitting about 1150 combo there, but is going to drop 860k on this DT2. And that is top score in the lobby by about 245,000 above my keyboard. So very, very well done from Chipori there in particular, and South Korea. I think just good pick strategy, and it works out here.
Yep, absolutely. And even if you take Capybara's score from yesterday, they still would have lost by something like 30,000 points. So didn't end up making the difference. But, you know, with that knowledge, I think we are going to see South Korea likely pick a lot more of these tapping picks, knowing that Romania's strongest tapping player is missing. And so outside of the picks that we previously mentioned, it opens up a whole new host of options for South Korea. Feels like an ocean of picks for them this time around. Romania, after that first break point, I wonder if we're going to see them change directions. You know, there's that No Mod 5 that was previously banned out by South Korea. Could be an option for them, but again, it is not so different from the anti-mod, where I think they're going to be pretty heavily reliant on Badu to put up a really good score. And so they are going to opt for Hidden 1 instead.
This is going to be a long one. Yeah, we got "Fuck the Police" by NWA, straight out of Compton. This is some classic American West Coast hip hop. One of the, I think, most well-known songs in that genre. And this one mapped in a somewhat awkward aim, light mech tech sort of style by the Honey Sticks, who has done a lot of hip hop mapping. Honey Sticks with maps, obviously, of this song, of a bunch of Death Grip songs as well. So if you're into more English music, hip hop in particular, Honey Sticks is definitely probably, I think the best, maybe the best known mapper, in my opinion, the best mapper for that genre.
Yeah, Honey Sticks has made a lot of very good maps. And I do like the strategy from Romania, changing it up, going for a map that neither team has played, because the maps they have played, I don't think they feel confident they can beat South Korea on. And I wonder if we are going to see the Allegrisimo Kokoro duo back in for this one. I would imagine so.
I mean, almost certainly, right? This is just hidden aim mechanics. I think you put in kind of your top two players for South Korea, because both of them should be pretty comfortable on something like this. And then Phil probably with... Actually, who? Petite? Maybe? Yeah, it's got to be Petite. I just don't think anybody else is really comfortable on hidden for this roster, so gonna have to be Petite here for South Korea. Romania with Badu, Origin, and Remorak. Kind of similar story there for Romania, honestly, with Capybara's not here. You're not putting a tournament on the hidden picks, so you've got to have somebody else fill that last spot. It's going to be Remorak here. And good lucks are out. We are in.
Yes, we are. I always feel like this is kind of the pivotal point in these kinds of matches, right? You give up your first pick as a break point, already feels bad, but you know, it is certainly recoverable. You've got lots of time later in the match to get that break point back. You give up a break point on both of your first picks, that's incredibly hard to come back from. So Romania really needs to win this one, otherwise they're going to have a huge mountain to climb. They're off to a strong start, but they are dropping a ton of accuracy, especially on Remorak, and nobody on South Korea has really matched that accuracy drop, but Origin is going to find the first miss as well, which is not really going to help them out much, but plenty of time for them to recover. I guess that is the nice thing about having these 5.5 minute maps.
Quick audio balancing and back into it, and yeah, it is just that miss from Origin. Everybody else holding on to the full combos, but accuracy once again in favor of South Korea. Just comparing straight across, you've got 96, 97, and almost 98 there for Badu, now barely 98, versus all 98 and above for South Korea. So even without the combo lead, South Korea would still be ahead in this, but it's a pretty tenuous lead. It's a small combo advantage, only about 200 combo, and it is just the accuracy on top of that. So about 45k, not too much here.
Certainly not insurmountable. We're getting to the point, though, where these combos are starting to get big, and the next miss is going to be incredibly relevant if it's not traded back. It's going to be a big potential score swing, but this is just a consistency battle, so you do expect to see some really high combos on both sides, and it's going to be those 1 or 2 misses. Alacrissimo finds the miss. Origin holds on this time around, and they're going to bring this one back pretty quickly here relative to the map length, but Remirac trades it back quickly, and now South Korea going to be up by about 300 combo now, and they're going to be able to hold on to this lead, continue growing it ever so slightly.
Right, just waiting on more misses to come through. Honestly, there's really not much else to say at this point. It's all dependent on these big combos for both teams. Amamiya and Petit for South Korea, Badu and Origin for Romania. And there goes Amamiya. Kokoro actually does find the miss, just, I think, aims off of that far right note too early. And now Petit, the only big combo on the side of South Korea. Badu matching the FC. Remirac will trade out the miss with Amamiya Kokoro. So it is about a 600 combo lead, about 550 combo actually, for Romania on Origin over Alacrissimo with those matching full combos for Petit and Badu. And it's just all going to come down to how long Romania can hold these big combos on both of these members. We are, by the way, only halfway through this map. This is 5 minutes and 40 seconds of this hidden one. So we are still only halfway through. There's still so long to go. And you can already kind of tell the nerves are starting to get to people. You see a little bit of shake in the cursor for Badu, a little bit of shake in the cursor for Petit as well. But both of them needing to hold here to preserve the lead for their teams. And now with Remirac finding yet another break, the combo lead is basically gone here, as Alacrissimo plus Amamiya would add up to Origin's combo, but there goes Petit, the full combo gone now for South Korea. Badu and Origin both break immediately afterwards as well. It's Amamiya Kokoro now with the biggest combo, just at 500, and we are balancing this map on a knife's edge, 2/3 of the way in, a 12k, 10k, and declining score lead for Romania. Another break to come through for Badu, and it's Amamiya Kokoro with just a little bit of extra combo to pull this back to South Korea in the last quarter.
Yeah, 2,000 score difference, 3/4 of the way into the map. Oh, there goes Amamiya Kokoro as well. That's the big combo gone for Romania. Now, it's pretty much been a full reset across the board. Combos are negligibly different at this point. It is 7,000 points, just like 4 minutes into this map, and still about a minute and a half to go. Plenty of time for Dio to start rapping as we wait for the next PI to come through.
There are parts of Fuck the Police that I can rap, and that is one of them. But there are parts, unfortunately, I cannot, or maybe fortunately, who knows.
I was going to say, that was the concern, right? Remirac has been struggling and was holding their highest combos, so South Korea should be able to flip this score lead over if they can hold on to for another 200 combo or so.
It's going so slowly, though. I mean, it's hovering between 5k and 4k, and there goes Alacrissimo, also finds the miss. And it's now tied combos, basically, for Badu and Origin and Petit and Amamiya Kokoro. But there goes Origin. Remirac now the only big combo. There goes Petit. It's Badu and Amamiya Kokoro to match, and it's just flipping back and forth. More misses for Remirac coming into the very end of the map. No, that was Bancho, actually. He's still holding on to combo. It is Badu and Amamiya Kokoro to hold these big combos, and that is bringing it just barely back over to the side of Romania. That Bancho miss for Remirac. Him holding combo is really, really important here going into the ending. 20k for Romania into the ending stream. Huge chain miss for Remirac. Alacrissimo and Origin also break at the end. It's Petit and Amamiya Kokoro holding the combo versus just Badu for Romania. Is there enough time for this extra combo to bring it back, though? I don't think there is. Another 50 for Alacrissimo, and that is 12k after 5 minutes and 40 seconds of this hidden one in favor of Romania. They put a point on the board in this match.
You know, when we started this map, I never would have imagined that Badu needing to hit that stream at the end was completely relevant. That was a must-hit stream for Badoo. Badoo survived the stream, which secured Romania the point, and they hit that critical break point. You know, they got their map win, and so they're still down by a break point, but they're very much still in this match as South Korea has the next pick. And yeah, the player is going to be probably a little bit tired after that one. So we might see them take a little bit more time with their pick, but that was a pretty impressive sight read from Petit.
That was an impressive sight read. Unfortunately, sight reading in the second match of the weekend is maybe less conducive to a win, as Romania able to put that on the board by just 12k. So very well done to them. And now we wait for another pick for South Korea, and I feel like if you win the DT2, and it's pretty convincing there, you can just go DT3, you can go free mod 2. I don't feel like you have much reason to go elsewhere at the start of this match, at least, right? You already know that you maybe have some advantage on free mod, or at least on precision reading hybrid maps like that free mod 3, so potentially no mod 5 later on, potentially something like the hidden 2 later on as well. But I think for now you can just stick to speed and be pretty comfortable with it. Instead, they're going to go for one of their best strengths in the no mod 4, which, you know, also fine. I don't see anything wrong with this pick. Just go for the tech map.
No, this is the pick I've been waiting for from South Korea, personally. Romania put up 1.25 million on the map. South Korea, on the other hand, 1.75 million. And at this stage of the tournament, 500,000 points is a massive gap to make up. So we're going to need to see something pretty special out of Romania here if they want to win this one. I imagine we are just going to see their kind of more or less standard core of Badoo, Eternum, and probably Origin. Capybaras is the one who played this last time, but again, unfortunately not here. It was only a 250k score though, so it's not like they're losing their top tapping player on this one.
No,
I think Romania again relying a lot on Badoo.
Yeah, obviously relying on Badoo here, and like you said, probably just Origin coming in for the last member. You may even be seeing Eternum swap out, not really known as a tech player. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Eternum swap out here, and this be like Origin and Remorac, or potentially Robotonic. As for South Korea, though, I think you just really favor their roster on this. Amamiya Kokoro, Alagrisimo, Petit is a really, really strong roster on this. Fun fact, iFlame, what do you know about Petit as a player?
As a player, pretty much all I know about Petit is they're quite good on aim and hard rock.
I got a really fun fact for you. Petit has 2 wins in the Catch World Cup and a 3rd place badge from, I believe it's the Taiko World Cup as well. Back in 2019, got 3rd place in Taiko World Cup and 1st in Catch World Cup, and then 1st again in Catch in 2020. So this is a player who is not just rank 500 global in standard, but also rank 350 in Taiko and rank 450 in Catch, and has multiple other mode World Cup badges. Some people are just talented, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, honestly, might have a case for the best like all game mode player. I don't know. I can't imagine there are many people who have World Cup wins in multiple game modes and are also a top player in a 3rd game mode.
Yeah. So I guess less relevant to 3-digit World Cup. Not that you know, the Taiko and Catch experience necessarily helps here. Just kind of a fun fact.
Don't worry, dear. Next week we'll have our Taiko pool.
Yeah, exactly.
Free mod will be 1 Taiko, 1 Mania, and 1.
We'll get the multi-mode pooling going in 3-digit World Cup.
Exactly.
Truly worldwide. Here we go. Badoo, Eternum, and Origin in for Romania. They do end up keeping Origin in there at the last minute. Petit, Amamiya Kokoro, and Alagrisimo in for South Korea. This is South Korea leaning into one of their potential biggest strengths in this map pool. 500k head-to-head score difference from yesterday, as you said, iFlame. So this should be a relatively one-sided pick, and this should be a way to stop that momentum from going back the way of Romania after an early 2-0 start for South Korea.
Yeah, really curious to see what we get for a top score in this one. I think Badoo and Okokro both hit about 630k in their last run, so we'll see if anybody can get past that 630k mark, but we've got a long way to go before we get there. We got to survive the start of the map, and it looks like both teams have done so for now. So Romania, off to the start we wanted. Honestly, really good accuracies from them as well to start this one out, so in a pretty solid spot. We'll see how long they can hold on to these combos, because this map does not get any easier.
And yet everybody's still full comboing. A third of the way in and not a single miss. There goes Origin. If I speak, somebody drops, and there goes Origin. Badoo and Eternum is still holding on to the full combos, but it is the three-way FC for South Korea still intact. And unfortunately for Romania, there's just nothing you can do but pray for multiple misses now. And for Eternum and Badoo to both hold on here. That slider is crazy, by the way. There's actually a slider taking that. And there goes Eternum, not on the big sliders, but on the repeat sliders afterwards. And now it's all down to Badoo versus the world here. Three-way full combo for South Korea still going strong. Halfway into this No Mod 4 pick. And Badoo left alone on the side of Romania. He needs all three of them to break, and fast, in order to pull this back to Romania's side.
Finally, we get one miss on South Korea as Alagrissimo does drop right before the slow section, but they've still got a long way to go to give this one up. I mean, South Korea still holding 2 FCs and are incredibly strong scores. It is slightly stronger, or slightly harder, second half, so there is potential for misses, but this is going to have to be the Badoo 1v3 of all time, and we're going to need to see good recoveries from Origin and Eternum as well. 20,000 points is certainly not out of it. It's going to be a tough comeback, but it is within reach, but it relies on misses from Petit and Okokro relatively soon into this section. There goes one. Okokro drops. Now it is pressure on Petit to hold because if Petit misses, there goes Petit as well. Romania has time to bring this one back if Badoo can hold this big combo.
But there is so much to bring back. It's a 200,000 score lead to bring back here. Origin has some combo, and it's just matching Alagrissimo, so it is all on Badoo, and there goes that FC, and I think there goes the point over to the side of South Korea. There goes Origin as well, so if Badoo's break wasn't enough, Origin's definitely will be. That is a win for South Korea. 3-1 on the board after this map, but Romania made it much closer this time around. Only about a 160,000 score lead coming into the end of the map this time by Flame. So this is far, far closer than we would have expected on paper.
Yeah, they managed to improve their score by about 300k. South Korea with pretty similar score last time around, and so it's a good improvement from them. Good to see they are playing well today, but unfortunately against a team that is as good on this map as South Korea, it's not going to be quite enough, and South Korea are going to go up 3-1, but Romania do have the next pick. They did manage to win their last pick in that more aim-focused map, so they do at the very least have some sense of direction of where they may be able to go with their next picks. You know, as close as it was, maybe we see them continue to look into some of those more aim-focused maps.
If they do want to go for one of those more aim-focused picks once again, it did work out on the hidden one. I think that's partially due to the density, so you maybe want to avoid something like the Hard Rock one. That is indeed the way that you want to take this match. Obviously, Fremod 1 already banned out, so there's really not much in the way of that kind of density-focused aim left in the pool. So you maybe do need to start branching out a little bit. I think for this Romania squad, something more alt-focused is potentially really good. You've got Nomad 3, you've got Hard Rock 3 still available. Excuse me. And if you want to go into something more density-focused, the Nomad 5 is available. Yeah, map's AR7, but it's also CS7. It's pretty low BPM. It's linear grid snap focused in terms of mapping style, so it doesn't play like an AR7 map. It's much easier to read than the approach rate would have you believe. So if you want to do something more density focused, that might be an option, especially, you know, that's basically a density aim map. It's a very different kind of density aim map, but it's still a density aim map in that Nomad 5. And instead, it's just going to be the Nomad 3, moving more into the alt density and finger control pick here in the Nomad 3.
Yeah, I know it was a good shout on the Nomad 3. I think alt is an interesting direction. But scary thing is, South Korea is incredibly good at ult as well, and that is going to be the nature of this match, I suppose. With such a heavy overlapping skill set, it is unavoidable. But Romania, they've got some ground to make up. This one not as bad. They're only behind by about 250k, which on the last map they improved by 300k. So this one is well within reach for Romania. If they can have a similar level of performance or even a slight improvement, they can definitely take this point over South Korea.
Definitely possible, and I think with the roster that they have, this is a really, really solid map for them. If you're just comparing the scores between these teams, yeah, it's a 7-0 head-to-head for South Korea based off the matches yesterday. But if you let that be the sole decider of what picks you're going to use, you just close yourself off from so much of the pool as Romania that it becomes basically impossible to form a coherent pick strategy. So I think picking into your players' strengths and understanding that you are probably going to improve your scores. You may have low rolled yesterday. You can still play these maps and get good scores on them is, I think, much more important than just looking at the head-to-head, which, obviously that's what they're doing, right? You're picking into, I think, a big strength point for specifically Badu, but Origin also very, very good on maps like this. Few too many South Korean players in the lobby right now. They are going to swap out Petit there for Alagrissimo. Amamiya Kokoro and Chipori also joining in, waiting on probably Badu and Origin here for Romania.
Yeah, and the other thing that's worth noting about the previous scores, right, is last time this played, Alagrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro both FC'd this map, as did Badu with lower accuracy, but all it takes is one miss from one of those players at an inopportune time, and all of a sudden that score gets cut by about 300, 400,000 potentially, especially if you miss in the middle. So Romania definitely have a lot of score potential to make up here. And this is definitely one of the easiest maps in the pool. There have been a lot of FCs on this map compared to pretty much anything else. So despite it being alts and a short alt map at that, it is a consistency test in the sense that you need to be able to consistently FC it. Actually, in the South Korea and Brazil match, they actually lost the map with 2 FCs because Brazil just had 2 FCs in a third S rank. So we're going to see some high scores on this map, suffice it to say.
You say that, but we're already 3 breaks in. Chipori early on, Amamiya Kokoro and Eternum just now. So combo lead to Romania. Only 3 FCs remaining in the lobby. Alagrissimo for South Korea, and then Origin and Badu for Romania. So we can still see high scores, right? These are all pretty early breaks into the map, but only going to see so many FCs, if any, on this map now already. A bit of a rhythm shift there into the 1/3. Now back to the 1/4 rhythm for these players into a more flowing focus section of the map. And everybody halfway through. 3 FCs total, 2 on Romania, 1 on South Korea. Just the early breaks, 1 from Chipori, and then 1 at about the same time for Amamiya Kokoro and Eternum.
100,000 points is a nice buffer for Romania, but could go back over so quickly. Origin finds a big miss, and that score lead is really going to start swinging here. It's not going back over as quick as I thought, but it is going over because nobody has followed up on that miss from South Korea. This is the hardest part of the map. Amamiya Kokoro finds yet another miss, and that is going to keep Romania in the lead for now, but it's going to stay pretty much dead even, and some accuracy drops for Romania. It is going to go back over towards South Korea, as they do still have about 100 combo advantage, and that's going to be all they need into this ending. Oh, Chipori finds a big miss in the end. Romania needs to hold on. They can't afford a single combo drop at this point. Eternum misses the ending, but they've done enough, and Romania gets a second point on the board.
Yeah, nicely done from Badu there in particular, holding on to that full combo through the ending. Alagrissimo also clutching up the FC for South Korea, but just not quite enough. Eternum held from that early break at the same time as Amamiya Kokoro all the way into the ending, just breaking right at the very end there. And that's the big difference maker. He's able to almost match Chipori, who is that second highest score for South Korea, up at 670k with, wow, that is a crazy screen. Somebody screenshot that score, man. That is hilarious. And a 600k for Origin as well, up 100k over Amamiya Kokoro. So really coming, a lot of the score lead coming from those two bottom scores on each team. Origin for Romania and Amamiya Kokoro for South Korea.
Yeah, and that was it, right? Miya Kokoro found a couple misses at the wrong times, and all of a sudden, minus 400k compared to the previous scores in Romania, able to take that one. So, really smart pick from Romania. You know, despite the initial head-to-head, I think really clever to identify that as the correct pick, and it's good to see them having some strong pick strategy here. Always fun to see. South Korea does have the next pick, though. Reminder that Romania does still need a break point at some point. They're going to be looking for that later in this match because South Korea still has a lot of good options. They have those tapping picks that you mentioned previously, Dio. They also still have that DT4 that they put up a pretty crazy score on, but they're going to go for the Hard Rock 2 Relentless Anxiety. Not a precision pick. Well, it is 5.9, but it's not a super crazy precision pick.
I like this. I think this is an interesting call out by South Korea. They're picking, still into tech, a little bit of low aim and finger control as well. Somewhat similar to the Nomad 3 and Nomad 4. But this is, I think, South Korea saying, Romania, you need density or hidden to be able to win these sorts of picks against us. You look at the two maps that Romania has so far. It's the Nomad 3 and the Hidden 1. Nomad 3, AR 9.3. It's a very density-focused alt pick there at 150 BPM and AR 9.3. And then, of course, Hidden 1 is AR 9.5, but it's a 200 BPM AR 9.5 awkward aim map. So that also plays a lot more dense. And I think this Hard Rock 2 pick is South Korea, in my opinion, correctly reading that Romania is going to be a lot stronger when you have that lower approach rate and or the hidden mod applied, versus they have some really, really strong Hard Rock players on this roster, including Petit, but we've all seen over the years how good Allegrisimo is on Hard Rock picks in OWC and often taking Hard Rock in the free mod picks there as well.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think this is also South Korea saying you need Capybaras on this, because this is another one of those picks where Capybaras was their top player on the map. At 500,000, put up 670k points on the map, and that is a really tough score to replace on a map like this one, especially because, as you noted, Romania, as a collective, tend to be much stronger on these kind of lower density maps, and so when you have Capybaras, who is kind of probably their strongest player on some of these more hard rock or tapping focused maps, it's going to be really tough to replace that score. I think South Korea is taking full advantage of the missing player from Romania, and I mean, that is definitely the smart thing to do when you're aware of a missing player.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think, of course, for Romania, Eternum coming in here, he's going to be a lot more comfortable on the Hard Rock for this map as well. So I don't think this is a free win. And I think this can backfire. Like, if Romania are able to win this map against South Korea here, I think that really throws a wrench into potential future picks for South Korea and opens up a little bit more for Romania as well. So if they are able to take the win on this map, I think Romania starts to look really good in this match. But if South Korea can win on this and do it convincingly, I think they're going to look really solid in terms of pick strategy for the rest of the match. And I think it can really hamper Romania's ability to pick confidently going into the rest of this. Early break for Amamiya Kokoro, 30 combo into the map. Not going to impact too much at all. Accuracy doing more work for the scoreline as of right now.
Yep, relatively short map as well, so even as early as 300 combo in, the misses are going to start to be pretty relevant. Allegrisimo is going to find the second miss of the match, but the first relevant miss is Romania should take over late, but do misses means South Korea are going to be able to hold on, and this one's going to stay relatively even as it is 2 FCs to 1, but Origin is right there with supporting combo no longer. There goes a tournament as well. It's pretty much a full reset for Romania, Dio, and now it is all on Petit to close this one out. Just has to hold on for another, a couple hundred combo and should be able to put South Korea too far in lead. Petit does drop though. Romania, they just don't have the combo to bring this one back. They're going to need a few more misses from South Korea into the second half.
I mean, you say they don't have the combo, but South Korea really doesn't either. Amamiya Kokoro and Petit just broke. Alagrisimo has a little bit more combo up at 300 there, but you've got better build-up for Eternum and Origin. Even Biju is slightly ahead of the build-up for Amamiya Kokoro and Petit. Not by much, but he is. And this score lead is actually starting to come back the way of Romania. There goes 2 more for South Korea. Alagrisimo, most importantly, it is traded out with Origin, but now you've got, look, Eternum and Biju still holding on to these big combos for Romania. Another break for Origin is not going to help their case, moving the score lead back over to the side of Romania. But there goes Petit and Amamiya Kokoro again. Origin's misses suddenly no longer matter, as Eternum and Biju are able to hold on and bring this back over to the side of Romania. But Eternum finds the miss coming into the ending here. That's going to make things dicey for Biju. If he can hold on to this big combo, Romania can still take the point. Another couple of misses for Amamiya Kokoro and Petit come through. It's Alagrisimo holding on to this bad combo to match Biju coming into the ending under 20k here, but more misses for Eternum and Origin make it so that he is not able to bring this back in time, I don't think, unless there's disaster for the opposing team. Another miss for Amamiya Kokoro, just barely, not enough for Romania to take it. And Biju, despite the efforts at the end, despite matching the top score in the lobby from Alagrisimo, not able to bring it back over to Romania's side, and they lose out on that point by a very, very slim margin.
Yeah, that is a pretty devastating loss for Romania. The Capybaras diff indeed on that one, as South Korea barely hold on, and Romania, and it wasn't their pick at least, so it's not another break point, but that was a prime opportunity to get their break point back, and they do still have some picks, and they could go for aim still as an option. We saw them do well on ult, so they could look in that direction. But I mean, maybe something like a Hard Rock 3.
I'm looking at a Nomad 5, and I'm also looking at the Hard Rock 3.
Yeah.
I think the Hard Rock 3 is also a good pick for them. But I'm really looking at this Nomad 5. I think this is a very, very solid pick for Romania. It works very well, similarly to what they've already won in the Hidden One and the Nomad 3. If they don't go for that, I do like the Hard Rock 3 as well, as you said. It's kind of unfortunate because I feel like the back half of this pool is really off limits to Romania right now. You've got DT3 as the speed map. South Korea has already beat you on DT2 by a pretty convincing margin. Lux Bifactal, is tech, but it's also high AR, high BPM, near 300 BPM DT tech. You don't really want to play that. Same for Soldier Inductance. Marmalade Butcher is lower BPM, but it's still a stream map. Like, there's just so much tapping in the back half of the pool now that it feels really off limits. So you're kind of limited to the Nomad, Hidden, and Hard Rock, I feel, a little bit here. And out of those, I mean, I'm liking they're going to go with Hidden too. They're going to go with the original song here by Raid, Eternity, mapped by Kevin Sulla.
Yeah, there's another one where South Korea wins the head-to-head, but only slightly. This one was an incredibly close map between these two teams, and so this one could go either way, and so I do like this pick. And this is one where both teams, I think, are going to be relying more heavily on their specific rating players. So we're more likely, I think, to see 1 or 2 big combos making the difference here. I think Romania just going to be sticking with the Biju Origin. And for the last player, are we seeing Robotonic come in for this one? It is not the AR8, of course. Oh no, they're all just leaving the lobby to practice.
Yeah, everybody's gone. Everybody's gone. I mean, you're going to have Biju, you're going to have Origin. You're not going to have Eternum for Romania. So either Remorak or Robotonic, obviously, got to be the third player in for their roster. South Korea, I think you're probably just looking at Amamiya Kokoro, Alagrisimo, and I mean, probably Petit. I don't think you're putting in... We haven't seen Sherbet at all, and I think they're more mechanics than anything. As well, so maybe Petit, maybe... I think it just has to be Petit, because I don't think my keyboard's playing Hidden on this, so...
Yeah, I would be very, very surprised to see my keyboard play Hidden in this one, so...
same for Chipori.
Seem more likely. Yes, exactly. Both much more kind of dedicated Hard Rock players for the most part. And it does feel like every Romania pick is a must-win for them at this point. Especially with so few picks left in the pool that really favor them. Although at this point there's not that many picks left in the match, and they do still have things like Hard Rock 3 and No Mod 5, which are, you know, far from guarantees, but they are like enough direction to get you through the rest of the match without completely running out of picks.
All right, let's see if they can. We got Badu, Origin, Remorak in for this next pick for Romania. Amelia, Kokoro, Allegrismo, and Petit for South Korea. Into the original song by Raid. Also mapped by Kevin Sella. This is a bit of a Flame test, so let's see how solid they are on it here.
Yep, and it will be Remorak versus Petit after all. Two players that have not traditionally been in for the lawyer, but are quite good at tech and alt as well. So skill set wise, makes a lot of sense to have them in. We do have a few early misses from both sides, but it's going to be early enough that it shouldn't make too much of a difference here. And it's going to be the first big test. It claims 2 on the side of Romania, make that 3 as Origin misses immediately afterwards. South Korea holds on to all 3 combos, and this is going to be a very nice lead for them to start this one out.
Yeah, that is not a good start to this pick for Romania. You really needed somebody to hold from that intro, and now it's just 2 full combos and a better reverse choke than all 3 of your combos for South Korea. They are already up 150k just off of those early misses, which is a really incredible amount, I have to say. How often do you see 150k lead this early on, and it's just 1 miss for each of the players?
Yeah, and it's pretty crazy that everybody on South Korea hit that pattern. It is one of the hardest patterns in the map. I don't know if there is a similar pattern coming up at the end of this Kiai. There might be. Petit does find a miss, so that's going to help Romania a little bit. But with those 2 FCs left over on South Korea, it's not going to be enough to bring this one back. There goes Amelia Kokoro as well. So Romania, they start to mount their comeback, but they're probably going to need a miss from Allegrismo as well. Origin does trade now, and Badu Remorak must hold for a long time if they want to bring this one back. There goes Remorak. Allegrismo trades. Now it is all on Badu, but 200,000 points is such a big score gap. Badu is going to have to pop off in the ending here.
It's come down to Badu too often during this match, I feel, and he has been able to deliver pretty often as well. It was just short on the last map. Can he hold on long enough to bring it back in this one? This score lead, I think, is coming back fast enough. There's more misses to come through for Alamia Kokoro, Petit, Origin, and Remorak, all finding these extra misses. So this combo for Badu should be able to bring it back. And there goes Allegrismo. That was the one big combo for South Korea, and the score lead now back on the side of Romania. He just has to hold a little bit longer. And the Romanian superstar of the past comes back in 2026 and still got it, man. This guy is just a ridiculous player who continues to show that even a long time after his debut in tournaments, he has still got what it takes to compete with the best of the best in modern tournaments. What a score, man.
Yeah, nearly 800k. I mean, it's so impressive on a map like this one, which most people always see them getting closer to anywhere from 300 to 500k, and Badu's out here putting up 800, so that will certainly get Romania the point. I mean, it looked dubious for a little bit, but Badu absolutely nailed that ending. Now South Korea has the pick. I am still curious to see if they do end up picking that DT4 at any point, or if they do go back to tapping instead. And I gotta say, after the kind of early mistake from Romania on their very first pick where they gave up the break point, they've been really solid. They've had some good scores. Even on the maps they lost, they improved their scores, and so they've certainly shown up big.
Yeah, I mean, if they were able to take that last map in the breakpoint by, you know, just a little bit extra, we'd be looking at Romania up 5-3 or 4-3 rather than South Korea up 4-3. So they are very close to They have been very close to tying it up and to bringing it back over to their side a couple of times now. So see if they can keep that up. That said, South Korea, I mean, the couple of big score leads that we have seen in this match have been South Korea score leads. The biggest score lead that Romania has had so far on any of their wins is 78,000 points. So it has not been particularly one-sided maps for Romania. When they are winning these points, it is by very, very slim margins. South Korea, only one of their wins was by that very slim margin of 8K on the last map that we saw. Other than that, you know, it's 160K, it's 300K, it's 340K again. So they have had much more convincing wins in this match so far, and we've yet to see Romania really pull off a very convincing win on any map. It's all been kind of by very slim margins. So I think South Korea in this match so far has definitely still looked better, and something like this, Flux by Factal, this is, I think, a very good pick for them. You have a couple of really good DT players. You have the tapping player on players who are also good at sack as well, right? Which is not something that you really have on Romania's side.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing Alagrissimo and Chapori for sure. Amamiya Kokoro as well, very likely. And Alagrissimo put up a really impressive FC on this last time around. 1.1 million score, which was pretty insane for a map like this. I think it was just one slider break for Chapori as well. So South Korea did put up 2.5 million, but if they do find a miss in the middle of the map, like we saw on one of the previous picks, then there is potential for South Korea to get a much lower score. But even then, that's going to be a pretty tough one to overcome for Romania, as they don't quite have the same DT players.
Well, see if they can take the breakpoint on this one. It's, you know, somewhat unlikely, but they are able to. It would be pretty big for Romania. South Korea, meanwhile, have just looked really solid throughout this match so far. Have almost given up a breakpoint once, but aside from that, have looked pretty good across all of their picks. Amamiya Kokoro, Alagrissimo, and Chapori in for South Korea. That's three players who you would very easily see in grand finals in OWC. So
yes.
I'm not surprised to see a very good roster here for South Korea. Origin and Badu in for Romania. I think a little surprising for Badu, but obviously a really, really strong tech player. So not surprising in that regard. Let's see who their fourth player is. If it's maybe Eternum, especially on a high ARDT pick like this, I would not be surprised to see Eternum come in. There's
okay.
Eternum a little late.
Yeah, we're gonna get the aboard on that one. Although Alagrissimo didn't load in either. I could have just run the 2v2. Although Amamiya Kokoro and Chapori is probably not a 2 that you really want to face off against if you're Romania. Eternum's still not loaded in, but do not play in the map. May need another aboard here.
Yeah.
As we get things sorted out. This is mostly slider tech. There's not really any burst for Badu to worry about. So, but seems like we're ready to go this time around.
I think we're just waiting on.
Yeah, it seems like it was a bunch of issues, so they should be able to get their third player in. I guess we need a screenshot for that. I honestly not looked into the.
I don't think anybody's gonna have a screenshot for that, man. Who screenshots that?
Yeah, there's no way. Like, I mean, I've not like read up on the rules on this because like how often does this happen? But surely we don't need a screenshot for this one. Yeah, I think the ref is going to allow it.
Okay, there we go.
Time number 3.
Yeah, there we go. We get all 3 in, and we are into the map once again. Okay, good to go.
Well, I'm almost good to go. We're still there we go. Now we're in. Nonetheless, waited for skips to come through, but we skip successfully. Now we get into this slider tech. 1 minute and 49 seconds. So keep an eye on some of these early misses. Allegrisimo, top performer for South Korea, put up an incredible FC last time this was played. We'll see if Allegrisimo can do it again. Ami Kokro is going to find the first miss for South Korea, so Romania going to find themselves temporarily with an advantage, but they do still have to bring the score lead back over. Allegrisimo finds the miss, not going to be repeating the out FC, and already Romania, they do trade back on Badu, so that's going to slot the lead a little bit, but it's been a full reset on South Korea, really having a tough time matching their previous performance. Origin, that was Boncho from Origin and Badu, so Romania still has a 3-way FC, and this is going to be a massive score lead now.
Yeah, and this pick is just working out really, really well for Romania. Finally, a couple of misses come through for Badu and Eternum. So now it is just Allegrisimo and Origin with these full combos. And we have seen bigger leads than this flop back over to the other team on Romania's picks before. It's certainly possible for it to happen here on South Korea's as well, especially on a DT map when you have that higher mod multiplier. This is really only about 100k score lead, and there goes Origin, does find the slider break there, and Allegrisimo is still holding on to the FC. If he can clutch up into the ending here, this can come right back over to South Korea's side, but Origin's was Bancho also, and this is actually still an FC for Romania as well. They do not have that combo lead on the side of South Korea, just a little bit on Chapori. Is there going to be enough time for that slight combo lead to pull this back? I don't think so. It doesn't look like there's enough object density, just this last long slider. And it's much closer than you would have expected with how big that score lead was with the full combo for Origin coming through as well. That is still really, really close, only 40k, but it is another point on the board for Romania and a break point at that.
Man, what a crazy map. Boncho certainly made that interesting. Eternum on that last ladder was about 2 pixels off getting slow slidered as well, which would have made the ending very interesting, but Romania, they find the point, and notably they finally get the break point they've been waiting for so patiently. They have the next pick, and if they pick correctly here for the first time in this match, they could find themselves with a lead, as Flux really working out for them, and a very impressive score by them. Did not expect we'd see such high scores from both teams there. But where do you go next if you are Romania? We talked about Hard Rock 3, and they do know what score South Korea has put up previously on Hard Rock 3, so the knowledge is there. And we'll see. Looks like they're still talking about the third player in the previous match. That's fine. Now, aside from Hard Rock 3, Dio, what are we looking at? Like, do we ever see, like, I mean, kind of coin flip, but a no mod 1 even at this point? Like,
yeah, I don't know where you want to go if you are Romania after that. I mean, you can go back into more alter tech. You've got the Hard Rock 3 if you want to go there. Maybe if you're a little bit more comfortable on the tapping, you can go into something like the Free Mod 4 or Free Mod 2. But I'm really not sure. I mean, No Mod 1 is kind of a tech map.
yeah.
So it's potentially an option if you want to go into something like that. It's low-key kind of a tech map. There's not really a straight up aim map in the pool.
I mean, they're Hard Rock 1, I guess. Ish. Even then.
No, Hard Rock 3. They're just going to go back into more alt. This one a little bit more finger control focused as well. The Fascinating Cat's Eye by Niwashi.
Yep. Yeah, South Korea not too happy, but
yeah, and look, I'm going to say something. I understand why he's not happy, but if that's the first occurrence in this match, the first occurrence rule is the team will receive a verbal warning from the referee. In addition, the referee may opt to forcefully use the team's tactical timeout to allow for the team to pick or ready. So in that case, it shouldn't have even been a forced start. They would have been allowed to have it happen anyway. He would have been allowed to join. So I understand being upset, but, you know, by the rules, he would have been allowed to join. I understand it's upsetting, but by the rules, he would have been allowed to join.
Yeah, they're never playing that map at 2v3, and so they just need to make sure that they're able to kind of reset the mental a little bit and make sure they can still play at the top of their game for this next pick, because this one is far from over. I mean, despite South Korea certainly feeling like the better team and Romania winning a lot of their picks by pretty slim margins, the score differences don't matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is the points on the board, and currently it is 4 points for either team, and so this is still anybody's game. This Hard Rock 3, another pick that Romania could certainly look really good on, and I think they're the most obvious pick by a wide margin. As for whatever their last pick might be, if they make it there, I am completely clueless. But we're going to focus on the map at hand for now as we wait for, I suspect, Eternum, Origin, and Badoo to slot in.
All right, just waiting on a couple of other players to come in here for both teams. The entire lobby empty once again. Except for Eternum this time.
It's not just Romania running down the timers either, right? Like both teams have been running down the timers to get some practice, so you can't be too upset about that either.
All right, and I think not much else to talk about here. We're probably gonna see I think just Eternum, Origin, Badoo roster for Romania once again.
Yeah.
Likely just Amamiya, Allegrisimo, and Petite for South Korea once again as well.
Spot on.
And no, actually Chipori coming in for South Korea here.
Oh.
And honestly, I kind of like that because I think Amamiya is mental boomed. So I don't think you put in the mental boom player, and I feel like that's a good call for South Korea.
Unfortunate, because Amamiya Kokoro was 500k on this last time, who it's pretty much right up there, same score as Allegrisimo put up on the map. So, Allegrisimo and Amamiya Kokoro were their top two. So, question is, can Chipori match that score? And will it be enough here as Eternum once again is
Why did Eternum leave the lobby? What are we doing?
Eternum was the lobby sitter for Romania. Eternum has been in this lobby for ages. But did Eternum leave the lobby right before start?
I don't know exactly what happened.
Yeah, I mean, that might be a real DC, but we also should not be waiting this long to...
Apparently he rapid-triggered escape, and now we have no abort, and it's been almost a quarter of the map already.
Nope, that is a player error, unfortunately, and they've already had their... they've already had one abort on the previous match, so yeah, this is just auto-lost. And it looks a bit silly because they stopped playing the map to request the abort, but because it was not a Bancho error, I believe that is the correct application of the rules, as silly as it looks. This is a great score by South Korea, by the way, unrelated to all the...
Unrelated, there's still three ways of seeing this anyway.
Incredible, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it might not have mattered at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if it would have mattered. Like, I really don't know if it would. Yeah, okay. No, both Chipori and Allegrisimo missed, so it actually may have mattered here. This match has very quickly devolved into not a normal match anymore.
Yeah, it was going so well, Dio. For like
It was
8
going
maps,
so
it was
well, man.
great, and then it's all falling apart.
It
in
was
the
going
end.
so well, and then and then all this.
Yeah, definitely gonna put a bit of an asterisk on this match, but I mean, Eternum will certainly know to be very cautious on the upcoming maps, but that this one definitely felt like a must-win for Romania.
Yeah, I think that's gonna throw a wrench into things for sure.
Yes, it will.
I mean, great score from Petit. Still full comboing. We don't know if that would have been a winning score for South Korea. Probably. I mean, double 600k plus a near FC choke.
Yeah, impossible to know whether or not. I mean, that is a very good score from South Korea. So there's a good chance they would have won anyways, but only Romania can, well, have a rough idea because they know what they got in practice. Yeah, it seems like Badu acknowledging that they probably were not matching those South Korean scores anyways. And yeah, I believe the reason for no abort is because the rules state that you may abort within 30 seconds if the player is experiencing a technical issue. Because Eternum just pressed escape, that's not actually a technical issue. That is a player error, which is unfortunate, but not not sufficient for an abort, it seems. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here that was ban-worthy. I would be
Yeah, no.
quite surprised. So I wouldn't stress about that.
Okay, well, I hope that this match can get back on track. That's what I'll say there. Pretty clearly solid run for South Korea on that map. Even Badu saying that they probably would have lost that pick anyway. So,
yeah. So in the end, despite the controversy, it probably has not really affected the outcome of the match much at all. So, barring any future issues, then it's not the end of the world, even though it is, and it does take you out of your kind of flow state a little bit for sure. But let's hope all the play. I mean, it's been an issue for both teams, so let's hope they can settle back into this as we are waiting for a South Korea pick next. I mean, in terms of South Korea picks, they do still have DT3, which is the tapping heavy map. They only put up 900k when they played it. Now there is no Capybaras, of course, who probably would play the DT3, so that makes it a little bit more pickable. That No Mod 5 still open. I thought it would have been a pick for Romania, but maybe at this point, South Korea wants to opt into it. And it looks like we are just going to get some. Our referee is going to get some clarification from one of our hosts. So we'll have to be a little bit patient while we wait for the host to hop in the lobby and sort things out. You're fluent in Korean, right? You can read that for us.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, I would say also don't put random messages like that into the chat. Also, What are we doing?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I cannot read Korean whatsoever, but I can't imagine it's a particularly friendly message.
Ronaldo wiki page. Is that the Ronald McDonald wiki page or something?
Oh, I'm just... I don't know.
I have no idea. I've just got no idea.
Lost. I don't know.
Oh no, it's Ronaldo, the football player. Ronaldo.
Yeah, football player. Yeah. So I guess not anything bad. Just doing a bit of trolling. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we have potentially 3 picks left. Hopefully, we'll see. Boy, the last couple of maps, man, have really thrown me off, and I, South Korea. How about a DT3 pick or something? Let's play Soldier and actually Fremont 2. Let's play Soldier Inductance. How's that? I like Soldier Inductance. I need a funny song after all this. Let's pick Fremont 2.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking. Well, I was more thinking DT3, but like Fremont 2, same. It is also tapping, so, and I mean, well, yeah, we need a lighthearted map. Yeah, let's get our timer going again so we can get back into the match. Because there's not that much to talk about when you've got like 10 minutes of delays, but we should get our pick shortly. I think Nomad 5 is going to be the next Romania pick. I feel like it has to be, surely. But remains to be seen. And it seems like the timer is set, so within 2 minutes we will have our pick.
Yeah.
It has.
I've been listening to Fascinating Cat's Eye too long. Please pick faster. Thank you. That's all I got to say, man. Get this goddamn song off the air and put something else on. Holy shit, move on.
It's been a fascinating
tournament players and meaningless drama. If you're running out the timer, get a warning and then start getting MP start 10. If you're if you hit your escape key, that is not a valid reason for an abort. Let's move on, man.
Okay,
it's not that deep.
Hear me out though, Gio. At least it's the Fascinating Cat's Eye. Like, what was that like? Really like garbage, like 50-second Hippo Cup map?
Oh yeah. No, I mean, look. I'm not complaining about Fascinating Cat's Eye. This song is good. I just need something a little different. I just need something different.
Some variety, for sure.
I get 3 people in chat immediately telling me off for saying something about the song. Come on, man. Don't you love a little variety? Spice of life? All right, Nomad 1. There we go.
Nah, we do
something different.
Oh, that's not DT3 or Fremont 2. But it is new. Got dubstep. What do you mean we can't just play Fascinating Cat's Eye for the whole match? The whole, like, hour and 20 minutes of match we've had so far. Yeah, dude, this is turning into quite the grand finals length cast.
Yeah, no kidding. But we're getting there. All right, on to Nomad 1, which is not really a Nomad 1. It's AIM, but it's more like Mech Tech AIM, 240 BPM. AR10, OD10. This is like speed mech aim tech, kinda. There's a lot going on.
Yes. All the varieties of tech. Well, minus the aim control, of course.
Yeah, minus the like slider following actual slider tech variety. It's just a 240 BPM light tech map. Pretty much all there is.
So yeah, I think about it, really not even like half the varieties of tech, but
no,
that's okay. It's been a long match. We're just chatting at this point. Romania, or no, South Korea do have a score on this one. 1.5 million as a team score, so that's, I mean, not going to be easy for Romania to beat, certainly.
No, I mean, I think this is a good pick for South Korea, especially because it's a speed tech map, right? But you famously not a speed player, not going to be in for something like this, and so I think this is just a good pick because it intersects skill sets in a way that is specifically bad for the best player in this match so far. right? Badu is the reason that Romania has been able to pull these points back in a number of a number of different maps. Origin on the last one, of course, on Flux, with that full combo holding on there. But then Badu with 780k on Eternity. Badu almost pulling it back on that Hard Rock 2 as well by 8,500 points. Badu with the full combo to match Allegrissimo on the Nomad 3. And then Badu again with the top score in the lobby on that Hidden 1. So a lot of these wins for Romania really have been Badu as the top scorer. Obviously, you need the support, but he's been like a super integral part of this team, and they would not have been close on a lot of other maps without him as well. So I think getting him out of the lobby is a good decision here for South Korea.
Yeah, it was a really balanced team score from South Korea as well. All of the scores ranging from 400 to 550k, and so you don't have to worry about one miss from a single player at the wrong time costing you like 300,000 points worth of score, because all three of these players can play this map to quite a solid level, and so it's going to put a lot of pressure on Romania to find somebody or multiple players to match, and you need obviously at least one person to beat those scores. So pretty easy start to the map. Unsurprisingly, we're not going to see any early misses, probably until at least the first KI, but as we get into the build-up, the pressure is on for both teams. Romania need to get this break point back, or they could be in a lot of trouble. Here we go into the first KI now. No early struggles. Remorak is going to find the first miss, quickly trade it back by my keyboard, so 2 FCs, 2 remaining, but still have more of the KI to get through.
And still 2-2 in the full combos as well, so keeping things close here. Chipori with a break on the flow aim there on that 240 BPM stream. Amamiya Kokoro now the only full combo remaining for South Korea. It's Eternum and Origin holding on to the double FC for Romania right now. 99.5 for Origin as well. Really, really good accuracy on that full combo, though. Eternum also ahead of Amamiya Kokoro by about 1% in the act department as well. So this is a really solid game state for Romania. And Amamiya Kokoro just breaks on an overaim there in the bottom left. And now you've got 2 FCs to nothing in favor of Romania. Really solid start for this team. But we have seen solid starts in this match go awry very quickly. So it is not over yet. They still need to build up a sizable score lead so that it becomes insurmountable for South Korea here into the next KI time.
Yeah, really nice at the break as well that they see 2 big combos holding, so you don't feel that pressure of being the only player holding the big combo to carry for your team. Origin does find the miss, as does Remorak, so a lot of pressure on Eternum now. 100,000 point lead is far from safe, and my keyboard is not too far behind. There's recoveries on the other South Korean players, and we can see this score lead actually slowly dropping. It's a 3-way miss from Romania. Was that Bonshot? I don't think so, and all of a sudden South Korea are going to bring this one back very, very quickly. 1,200 combo in the lead now, and already down to 40k.
And, I kind of hinted at this earlier on, right before this KI time started, but we have seen bigger leads than that flop back over to the other side, and it seems like that's what's going to happen here. It's now back over to South Korea. My keyboard and Amamiya Kokoro holding on to the high combos now, bringing this score lead back over to the side of South Korea. And that 3-way reset for Romania is devastating. They have all the same combo as Chipori, who is the lowest combo on South Korea's side now. A quarter of the map left. It is only a 70k score lead, but it is climbing very quickly. And now this is becoming insurmountable for Romania. Another miss to come through for Eternum, and that just makes any sort of a comeback that much more difficult in this last quarter, if a comeback is ever even going to be possible. Remorak and Origin now with misses as well, and that is going to seal Romania's fate on this map. Amamiya Kokoro will find a drop, but my keyboard's still holding on. Chipori still holding on. 230,000 the score lead now, and this one is not flopping back to the other side again.
No, it is not. Incredible score from my keyboard, and South Korea going to find themselves on match point. They have a chance to avoid the back-to-back tiebreakers, as they've already played one yesterday. So they had the pretty intense couple of matches this weekend, but Romania does still have a pick. I suspect it's going to have to be the Nomad 5. And then Romania will get one more chance on South Korea's last pick, assuming they can actually win that no mod 5.
All right, let's see if they can convert on a last pick here for Romania. Down a breakpoint 6-4 right before the end of the match. Not where you want to be, but you do it still at least get access to that last pick. Like you said, no mod 5. I think a pretty decent pick here for Romania. I don't know if you want to go into... I mean, what else is left? You got the Hard Rock one. You've got the DT3 and then the Free Mod 2 and 4. DT3, Free Mod 2, and 4 are all tapping maps. You've lost the DT2. You've lost the No Mod 5, which are both... the No Mod 1. I thought it was a No Mod 5. Those are both realistically, those are tapping maps. They're tapping gated for sure. Now... I think that really limits you to the Hard Rock 1 and the No Mod 5. So they are just going to go for that No Mod 5. Origin, I think, already picking it. And there we are. Kurofune Raiko by Kakumi Nishigomi. The Crazy Diff map by Nick. CS7, AR7, OD7. Jackpot hit, maybe, for Romania on this map. With the Grid Snap Precision Reading Hybrid here. It's more of a density map than a reading map. As that grid snap and low BPM brings the density way down and also makes it structurally very easy to read and understand what's going on. So this does not play like an AR7 map. It plays like a lot higher of an approach rate map, especially because the circle size being 7 also brings that density down. So you got a lot of factors working to make this not really a reading map and much more of a precision map instead.
Yeah, but it is nice for Romania. Badoo obviously has been phenomenal, and this is by all means a Badoo map, and no question about it. Badoo put up 700,000 points on this map, which is a very strong score, and so we'll see if Badoo can repeat that performance, and if so, South Korea, I suspect they're going to have a tough time finding somebody to match that. Unsurprisingly, Petit in alongside Allegrissimo and Amamiya Kokoro, so I think pretty expected rosters for both sides. We are just waiting for likely Turnham as the third. Unfortunately, Capyveras again played this one, but not available this time around. So they're going to switch things up here.
All right.
Good luck, have fun in the chat.
Yep, got everybody in. Eternum Badoo Origin for Romania, and if anything shows that this is a precision map instead of a reading map, it's that Eternum is in the lobby right now. Famously, does not like the reading maps. So.
And also Tycho in the background, so Petite buff.
True, potentially Petit buff. Allegrissimo with the first miss here. We do have Allegrissimo, Petit, and Amamiya Kokoro in for South Korea. Origin to trade out that early miss with Allegrissimo. Origin to miss again as well. You can see just how much more of a precision aim map this is, how big the spacing is on CS7 in this map. It really is so difficult to be that precise with your aim. Already multiple misses from Eternum, Origin, Allegrissimo, and Amamiya Kokoro. It is Petit and Badoo holding on to the full combos for both these teams, third of the way in.
Yeah, the scoring combos are relatively even as well, and it's a tiny advantage for South Korea, but this is going to stay very close until we see one of Petit or Badoo missing, but a score can flip over very quickly, especially that miss from Eternum. Didn't have much combo to begin with, but it should give South Korea an extra 10,000 points versus two. That's 2 more misses, and now is all on Badoo to keep Romania in this one. The score lead jumps immediately to 100,000 points, and we're going to see some misses from South Korea too. Romania's time in this tournament is quickly running out. Badoo, Romania's last hope, a third of the map to go, and 200,000 points to make up. Unfortunately, South Korea are just not missing. There goes Amamiya Kokoro, 1 down, 2 to go. Petit as well, 1 to go. Allegrissimo needs to hold here because if Allegrissimo misses shortly, then Badoo can... it needs to be the next 5-10 seconds, Dio. It's
yeah, and that is going to be game, I believe.
Yeah, the miss didn't happen for Allegrissimo, and South Korea Gonna be able to close this one out in impressive fashion, and we do see why they waited so long to pick the Nomad 5. And it was some solid scores from Romania, but this will be the end of their journey in 3WC.
Yeah, and that is honestly, I was hoping for a closer ending to this match, given that we did have some hiccups during the course of it with the late join, a bit of a mental boom for South Korea, Amamiya in particular, as well as then the accidental leave from Eternum on that other map. So was really hoping for a closer ending, and it's, I think, unfortunate how it turned out here at the end of everything. But at the end of it all, especially with Badu as well saying that, you know, hey, we probably wouldn't have won that Nomad or Hard Rock 3 pick anyway. I think a deserved win for South Korea at the end of it all. Well played to them. And they move on to the top 6, knocking Romania out in top 8 here in the 3-digit World Cup, which, again, we had how many teams join in for this one? About 25 teams or so, a little bit more than that, playing qualifiers. Yep. So that is still a pretty solid overall placement in the top 8.
Yep, very impressive result for them. South Korea will be facing off against the loser of Hong Kong and Chile, I believe. So I presume that match has already been played, actually. Yeah, Hong Kong beat Chile, so they're going to be playing against Chile next week. But that is the last match of the weekend. Do we know when Bull Showcase is?
I don't think we do, but I think Nick may be watching, so if we have the host here, please say in chat when the showcase is, and then we can end things off as this is the last match of the weekend, of course. So I am assuming showcase at some point today, some point later today, 20 UTC-ish, so that is about 3 hours and 20 minutes or so from now. So come back about 3 hours and 20 minutes from now. There will be a ping in the Discord once again for the finals map pool showcase. Once again, good luck to South Korea next weekend. Thank you to Romania for playing in the 3-digit World Cup this year. And we'll see you all back here at about 20 UTC for the map pool showcase.